Okay, here we go. Sunday afternoon reflections on BWTM sports. Let me make sure that my audio is good. It's all good. We're good to go. So, hope you're good on this Sunday afternoon, 4:45 in the evening in London. So, let's get started on this boxing Sunday reflection. And I think it's necessary because a lot has gone on over the last week or so, particularly this weekend as well, with Lyndon Arthur, Anthony Yarde, Errol Spence, and Danny Garcia, and then Dubois and Joyce. The last 2 weeks we've been spoilt with real boxing, real good fights. Of course, Billy Joe Saunders and Martin Murray. And now next week we've got the return of Hercules, AJ versus Kubrat Pulev. So let's get going and let's get started, and let's talk about a few things. I think we'll start with the whole Daniel Dubois versus Joyce. Now on this channel, for those of you who are new, I would say that the aim of when I do these shows would be to be as non-biased as possible, and if there's an element of biasness that comes in, or favoritism, or I like a fighter, one fighter more than the other, I'm going to tell you straight up, because that can cloud the judgment. So I will tell you straight up, look, if I'm a fan of this person, I'm telling you straight up, I'm a fan of the person. I'm not gonna try and weave in my fandomism, if you want to call it, into my agenda. I'll let you know. A side, B side. I'm not one of those guys who gets into all of that. That was started by Floyd Mayweather. He was the A side, and everyone else was the B side. He was the big money, the guy who pulled in the big money as well. So, yeah, A side, B side. I would say now is which person's had the better promotion, which person pulls in the more tickets. Really, yeah. But when Floyd Mayweather was the A side, there really was no B side. You were the B side. There was no debating that round the table. Floyd was the one that was pulling the huge amount of money to the table, and you were the guy that was just happy to be there to fight Floyd Mayweather. Let's get that straight. So let's get into the weekend. Danny Dubois and Andy Lee. Anyone who watched the BT broadcast, if that was behind closed doors, I'm surprised Andy Lee didn't get up and chin Paul Dempsey. Now, I like Paul Dempsey, but one of the things that are quite clear, quite evident in boxing presenters, these guys they get in who might be good at presenting but have no clue about boxing. You know, there is, you can't, there's certain things you just cannot understand if you've never boxed before. I don't care what you may think, but if you haven't gone to the gym and you haven't had to sit on ropes and get pounded with punches when you didn't want to be there, doing the extra round when you didn't want to be there, you want to be there because that's what you enjoy, but you just don't want to be there because you're thinking, well, I could be doing this and that. Instead, I'm getting somebody whacking at my ribs. I'm sacrificing 6-8 weeks getting yourself into camp, training, dedicating my body, sacrificing my body, sacrificing a way of life to achieve a goal at the end, to be raised, to be the winner, to avoid humiliation, to avoid defeat, to avoid to prove to yourself that you're better than another man or another woman by applying yourself in the trade, being able to become a champion of, whether it be winning the amateur title, winning your first amateur bout, or becoming the champion of the world. Those things and the pain, you get up the next morning and you may be, you've got headaches, you're pissing blood. Yeah, just keeping it real. You can't walk around because your ribs busted, your body's in pain. Everyone else is celebrating after seeing you fight the night before. They're all got the drinks, they're celebrating. Yeah, that's my mate. And great internally, you feel great because you've made people feel good. But all those feelings the night before, the doubts are creeping, all those things, the work, going to the gym, working out, all those feelings and emotions that a person on the sideline can never imagine. It's very easy then to be able to just quite be very disconnected from what's going on with a fighter's career and what's happening. And particularly when situations like that happened with Daniel Dubois, where he went and took a knee, and he took a knee because inside of himself he knew something was wrong. You have that, your guts telling you, look, something ain't right here. You've heard a snap inside your eye, and you've taken a knee. He should have been stopped by his corner to avoid what happened with Daniel Dubois. That's what should have happened. The eye was shut, and he was not really going to win that fight. He was tiring as well. The corner must have said, look, you know what, son? You can come and fight another day. You know what? We can get the rematch going. That would have been better for Dubois. Now that guy could have been permanently blinded, and what would he got for it? And before we even go to that point, let's go back. All those people that were pushing for Daniel Dubois to win this fight, Dubois wasn't ready. I don't care. People say, oh, yeah, when he was in the fight, did he win? No. And the guy's blinded from it now. Or almost blinded from it now. Right? And to me, you're fast tracking. What are you fast tracking for? The guy's 23 years old. Let the guy build his career correctly. Prospect. He had fought nobody to prepare him for Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce wasn't being prepared. Joe Joyce was ready for Daniel Dubois. This is a guy who's capable of being Alexander Usyk and the top heavyweights in the world. I didn't need this night to prove to me that Joyce could beat Dubois, or he was that level. He'd shown that for his career, that they both guys were fought in totally different levels. If this was a football match, you wouldn't even put the two guys. You wouldn't even try and say this was a 50-50 matchup in a football match. There's a guy who's been playing in the Champions League versus a guy who has been playing Sunday League football. In terms of comparisons, in terms of what they've done. So I just asked myself the question here. Who are these people behind these keyboards that are pushing these fights? And then, look, there's a reason why there's matchmakers in boxing, right? And there's a difference between matchmaking in boxing that makes business sense and makes career sense. Fans, if you listen to fans in boxing, they will destroy your career. They will completely destroy your career if you listen to fans, because you're forever chasing goalposts that get widened further and further and further. If Floyd Mayweather couldn't please the fans, right, then nobody's pleasing the fans. Do you understand? Floyd, oh, he doesn't hit hard enough. Oh, Floyd, he runs in the ring. Oh, Floyd, he doesn't get in enough wars. You can't please everybody in boxing. That's quite clear. But these fans that clearly were so blinded or just did not know that Daniel Dubois was not ready. There's a time that Daniel Dubois could have fought Joe Joyce, but that last Saturday was not the time. He was not ready. He'd never done a 12-rounder with a guy who was actually willing to punch him back. Do you understand? There's a difference fighting a guy that's just there to survive, and then a guy out there who's looking to take your head off and has ambitions of his own. Dubois had never been in the ring with that. Dubois had never been in with a guy who'd been, for argument's sake, a silver medalist, and for me, a gold medalist, Olympic medalist. He never fought anybody like that. Look at the guys Dubois fought as an amateur. Look at the guys Dubois fought as a pro. And even more so, the stuff about Dubois and sparring. People say don't listen to sparring stories. When things got on top for Dubois and sparring, didn't want to know. And this is stuff that I heard, when he was sparring with Povetkin. So I knew at some point in the fight that Joyce would have got on top of Dubois and Dubois would have found a way out. Now, that being said, I didn't think it was going to be because of the eye. I really didn't think it was because of the eye. But I did give comparisons of Gary Mason and Lennox Lewis. There's a thing, for the most part, I'm talking about Olympic champions that have applied themselves correctly in the sport. I'm not talking about Audley Harrison here, because Audley's a different situation. A lot of people keep throwing the Audley Harrison situation up in my face. But I went to college with Audley. And my cousin used to manage Audley before he got beat by Danny Williams. So I know all about the Audley story, stuff that people don't know about Audley. You understand? So when I listen to Audley's situation, there are things that I can see on the inside I'm not prepared to talk about. And then I hear what people are saying from the outside who are not even connected and don't know about. Say, oh, well, Audley Harrison was Olympic champion. Audley Harrison was a good fighter, very talented as an amateur. Went to the pros, the £1 million deal, and we can, and him trying to be self-promoted. That was a big problem because the promoters, somebody wanted a piece of Audley, and Audley wanted to do it his own way without the promoters, and that was a big no-no. As an Olympic champion, he wanted to do things his own way, so he didn't have the protection. Those promoters were all gunning for Audley. Audley wanted to put his own shows, and obviously that was not the done thing to do. So Audley was, a pioneer in his own right. And if you go and look at what Audley did, it was Audley A-Force Promotions. So he's called it A-Fast Promotions. They did what they could to ridicule and mock Audley. Do you understand? Only when Audley got beside a promoter, a well-known promoter, then Audley got a little bit of thing about him. But otherwise, when he wasn't with a promoter and doing his own thing, there was a lot of stuff about Audley. But that's not what I'm here to talk about today. I'm here to talk about how many situations have I seen in the last, 5 years, where the guy who's had the Olympic experience versus the guy who's had a decent amateur background. We've seen it so many times. Okoli versus Chamberlain. We've seen even with Josh Taylor fighting O'Hara Davis. O'Hara Davis had just won, I think, maybe won an ABA title. Josh Taylor had international experience. I think he won the World Amateur Championship or something like that, Josh Taylor. So you're looking at guys with different types of pedigree. And then you're just trying to ignore that stuff and say, oh, well, the amateurs don't matter. All that world experience, traveling the world doesn't matter. Stick them in the ring and then we'll just see. It's just going to happen or not. It doesn't happen like that. And if you don't apply yourself in training, in training camp and have a good trainer beside you in the corner who can spot your flaws, make the changes, bring the right sparring partners in. Don't just bring sparring partners in that you can beat up on, but bring sparring partners in that are going to actually make life difficult for you. Even David Hay talked about it last night. He alluded to top sparring partners were hurting him and dropping him in sparring a week before the fight. So you have to bring that hard sparring and training in, which brings me to my next point. I don't know who was sparring with Daniel Dubois for that fight. I don't know who he brought in for sparring. I don't know if it was international quality. I don't know the level of his sparring. I don't know. But what I saw of Daniel Dubois up close when I was in the gym watching him, it wasn't enough. And that wasn't going to be enough because you look at guys and some of guys that Joyce was going around the world getting sparring. Do you understand? He was sparring some of the best guys in the world and getting that quality sparring. So when he came in to fight Dubois, I remember Sam Jones saying, we spar better guys than you. We're sparring better guys than you. Sparring better guys than you. So the opponent Joe Joyce was fighting, Joe Joyce was sparring guys better than the opposition he was facing. That tells you something about the mentality and what it takes. You look at guys like Lennox Lewis and Vladimir Klitschko, the type of guys they're bringing into camp to spar with. That, there's no corners being cut. And then on fight night, it shows. But there is a band of people, almost magicians. They think that they're not doing it in a gym, but suddenly on fight night, it's going to happen. No, fight night is when the bright lights are on, and that's your examination. That's a severe examination if you've not done the work. Floyd would call it the party because he knows he's done the work beforehand. And when he comes into the ring, he's celebrating because he's done his homework. And these people trying to cut corners but still make the money, and their shortcomings. And all these people that are jumping on the bandwagon of Daniel Dubois quit are the same people that will push Daniel Dubois across social media. The Daniel Dubois, he's the next heavyweight champion, or right now he's going to do this, he's going to do that, based on a bunch of highlight reels of a bunch of guys that we had no ambition and would never have been heavyweight champion of the world. You have to call it as you see it, and that's it. You understand? And those people who are saying these things about Daniel Dubois, these people should be getting crucified as well. Who's sticking him in with Joyce and believing, Frank was doing it because he had to promote, but he was promoting both boys, and he was under pressure, I believe, to make a pay-per-view fight. But if you would ask Frank quietly in a corner, is Daniel Dubois ready to fight Joyce? He would have rolled his shoulder and gone, no, I ain't sure. Frank would have given us a shoulder roll and told us, no, you ain't ready for Daniel Dubois. You just got to look at Frank. You got to look at Frank's track record. Frank don't do them kind of things. So that was a fight. That was I don't know if that was a flagship fight. Obviously Fury wasn't fighting. We didn't know the whole thing of Fury, and probably that's a good thing Frank got that pay-per-view in it, and the Mike Tyson fight as well. But really and truly, if you look at Frank's record over the 40 years, if you want to talk about it, Frank don't put guys in Dubois like that. Frank would carry on building Dubois up slowly and building his record, build him up. You want to throw him in with someone like Joyce like that? That's Frank fast tracking. But remember, when I said this to you before, Frank has 5 years with Dubois. He signed that 5-year deal with Dubois. So you can think, you know what? He lost, but he can come again. So really and truly, and Dubois himself wasn't mentally mature enough. He was probably very, when you go back and look at that video again with Dubois and Dubois with Joyce. Go back and look at him around the round table again and look at Dubois. Dubois is like a little boy, and Joyce is like a fully grown man. It's like, yeah, I'm going to knock him out, Frank. I'm going to knock him out. I'm going to knock you out. And he sounded so corny, and he was saying it, but he was almost delusional about the wherewithal, not understanding. Have you actually done the work necessary to fight this guy? Have you done the work? Have you had this hard sparring? Have you had the experience? Oh, no, that's not going to matter. No, Daniel, it's going to matter. Experience does matter. You just can't fly in the face of experience. The boxing gods don't like stuff like that, and you pay for stuff like that. And we saw in the night, you couldn't see. He couldn't see the wood from the trees, and what his promoter was saying. The promoter's job is to promote. His job's not there to say, you know what, Daniel, you're not ready for the fight. Of course, the promoter's got to say, yeah, I think Daniel stands a real good chance. Frank's a Hall of Fame promoter. That's what he's meant to do. And he would have preferred if Daniel Dubois had knocked out Joyce. He would have preferred it. It would have been a gamble that would have worked out. When you gamble, as I did the other night, last night with Danny Garcia, when you gamble, you hope that your gamble pays off. That's the whole point of your gamble. But it didn't pay off. You understand? So the whole thing with Daniel Dubois, he's now his eyes, and ain't no fans will be paying for that bill for his eye. And the stuff that's been said about the young man, 23-year-old, he's going to have to be mentally very strong, because the stuff that's been said about him, it could destroy a young man's spirit. And we all talk about mental health, the hypocrisy of people. When Tyson Fury talks about mental health, everyone wants to get around and celebrate Tyson Fury for mental health, yeah? But the same sort of things that cause mental health and depression by saying the sort of vicious and nasty things about a man's character. You go back, and if you were Daniel Dubois, as young and immature as he is, going through YouTube and watching all these people saying how much of a quitter he is, Daniel Dubois is going to go one of two ways. He's going to absolutely crumble internally, never be the same fighter again, or he'll rise above it and become a better fighter. But my advice to Daniel Dubois is to get rid of the team you've got around you, completely dismantle it, and get yourself a trainer that knows about the sport, that would have saved your ass that night and not had your eye in the position it is now. That's what I would have. That's what I'd have been looking for. You understand? And that's what I would suggest to Daniel Dubois. Get yourself a new team. Get yourself a trainer who knows how to train heavyweights, who knows how to make you become a heavyweight champion of the world by a trainer who's seen it and done it over and over again. Daniel Dubois, get your ass out to America. Get the hard sparring, get the hard training. If not that, go and work with the Klitschko's. You know, go and work with Stacey McKinney. Go and work with James Ali Bashir. Go and, for heaven's sake, get yourself a world-class trainer who has trained heavyweight champions, right? Go and get your ass out there and get that experience. And you need a mentor, a trainer, like almost a father figure in boxing to look after you that can relate to you and not just put you on some pads and do pad work with you. Blatant, right? You need to find a trainer that's going to make you. And Emmanuel Stewart would have been perfect for Daniel Dubois. And I assure you, if it was an Emmanuel Stewart in the corner with Daniel Dubois, you'd have seen a different result, right? Because Stewart would have given him boxing science. Big difference. He would have beaten all them jabs from Joe Joyce in the first place. But that's just my opinion. So that's the first thing. Secondly, let's talk about Yarde versus Arthur. Right. Again, Tunde, Yarde, love you both, but did you learn from the Kovalev fight? Once again, you were eating jabs all night long. So you couldn't get you out the jab. The other situation was that why did you wait until the 12th round to be the exciting fighter that you are, Yarde? You're the A side. You're the guy who everybody's queuing up to fight. You're the man. Why don't it take you to the 12th round to explode? You're the exciting fighter. You told everyone about the deck after the Arthur's fight against Dex Spellman. I'm Mr. Entertainment. Well, where was the entertainment? Where was the going after Arthur and going after knocking Arthur out and saying Arthur was a boring fighter? Where was that? Where was the plan to step up the gear, close Arthur down, and get him out of there? Where was that? That was in the last round. But where was it for the whole fight? You were doing the same thing from round 1 to round 11. Following Arthur around the ring, getting hit with a jab. Following Arthur around the ring, getting hit with a jab. Looking to load your own hand up. Walking onto the left jab. And later on in the fight, getting hit with more right hands. So, the question I ask is this. You couldn't move out the jab in the Kovalev fight. Another fight where you couldn't move out the jab again. And it seems now there's a problem because you can't slip the jab. Because if you can't slip the jab, then you can't set your own shots up. Because every time you try to set your shots up, you're getting hit with a jab. So are you going to block the jab? Are you going to slip the jab? What's the point of standing in the center ring like that and you still get hit with a jab? It's no point. What's the point of having that and getting hit flush with right hands? What is the point of that defense? That defense only seems to work well when you're against the ropes. But if you're walking in a straight line and you're getting hit with the jab and getting hit with that's not helping you. All that the pad work, well, that's nice. It's flashy, it's great. It's not stopping you block the left jab. What the hell is going on? Frank must be absolutely fuming with you guys. He must be absolutely livid. Look, so I've invested. I've brought the Commonwealth champion here, right? You're the A side. I've brought the Commonwealth champion. I've given you the opportunity, right, to do something here. I've given you the opportunity to become Commonwealth champion. Any year, you're Commonwealth champion, right? Then we can set up a fight between yourself and Boazzi. Right. Joshua Boazzi needs to find a trainer as well because he's another one getting hit with right hands all day long. So Boazzi's getting hit with right hands all day long, and Anthony Yarde's getting hit with jabs all day long. What's going on? Don't you know how to block punches and move your head? Well, surely that's what you've been doing. All this pad work that shit needs to stop. You need to learn how to get your head off the line and stop getting hit with a jab. You need to learn how to close the range down and put it on fighters. You've missed a massive opportunity to become Commonwealth champion. And what makes it worse is that you get the opportunity to fight at Lyndon Arthur, right? You're the A side, right? And then you try and think that by coasting, it's going to win you the fight. What Somebody tell me. Tunde, I'm asking you the question, and Anthony, I'm asking you a question. What did you do to convince the public that you are the A side? You didn't blast Lyndon Arthur out of there. You didn't take Lyndon Arthur apart. You didn't comprehensively outbox him from round 1 to round 12. So what did you do? You went out there and you coasted. And you coasted and thought, well, I'll go to 12 rounds. And if I go to 12 rounds, I'm the A-side fighter. You know, Frank's got my back. I'm the A-side fighter. I just need to go to 12 rounds, do what I normally do, put a little show on at the end of the fight, and then, I'll win the fight. It didn't work out the way. It sensationally backfired. And Ian John Lewis, I don't know what the hell he was watching. I don't know what fight he was watching. Maybe he was watching the Kovalev fight with Yarde. I don't know. And then probably switched over and watched the last round of Yarde versus Lyndon Arthur. I don't know what he was watching. I don't know what he was watching. So, at some point, Tunde's got to some questions have to be asked of Tunde. Why is your man still eating the jab? Why is it your man can't close the range down? I mean, you've got a product there, and promotionally, Yarde's a gem. You know, he's he looks like a superstar. He looks like a pay-per-view fighter, but there's a bit more he's got to give. He really should have blasted Lyndon Arthur out of there, or at least stopped Lyndon Arthur to say, you know what, I'm a class above Lyndon Arthur, and I thought Lyndon Arthur was a damn good fighter. And I said to you in the beginning, the jab is going to be a key. If Yarde cannot get past the jab, he's going to have a problem tonight. Nah, Yarde, you're just going to go out there and blast Lyndon Arthur out. No, because for you to blast Lyndon Arthur out, you have to find a way to land your own shots. But if every time you're about to land your shot, you're getting hit with a jab, you're getting hit with a jab. I know from get hit with a jab, getting hit with a jab. That jab is like stop, reset, stop, reset. So, and that's happening every time. You have to be hit back, snap back with a jab. Yeah, Yarde can take a shot, and you know, he's done the 12 rounds, and he has showed, well, even more frustratingly, he showed in the 12 rounds that in the 12 rounds, he could explode. But he couldn't get Arthur out of there, like he couldn't get Kovalev out of there. So, what is it? He couldn't get Kovalev out of there. He now can't get Arthur out of there. Is that something that we need to look at as well? Worse still, in that 12th round, you know, apart from when Tunde told Yarde to go and empty the tank, he actually gave him the instruction to go into the tank, and then Yarde, you know, blew himself out and got tired. In this situation, was he told to go empty the tank in round 8 or round 9? No. So he started too late. Hopefully, again, this is experience. But, you know, I don't know. If I'm Lyndon Arthur, if I'm Lyndon Arthur, am I rushing for that fight now? For a rematch now? I don't see no rush to have a rematch now. I don't see no point to have a rematch now. So I don't see no point whatsoever to see a rematch now. So I don't see no point to see a rematch now. Do you understand? For me personally, if I'm Lyndon Arthur, do you know what? You had your opportunity to beat me. You didn't beat me. I'm moving on with my career. I mean, I would like to see Lyndon Arthur now go on and fight BWTM for the British title. I'm sure fans would love to see BWTM Arthur for the British title. If I'm Lyndon Arthur, say, you know what? Yeah, we can have a rematch in the future. I'm going after Joshua BWTM, and that makes a good fight. British and Commonwealth title on the line. BWTM versus Lyndon Arthur. I'll tell you now, I would back Lyndon Arthur to beat Joshua BWTM. Why? Because BWTM gets it with the right hand. He'll walk onto the jab. And I think BWTM does punch hard, but I think Lyndon Arthur has the ability to box with a BWTM. I think it's a great fight to make. So me personally, if I'm Lyndon Arthur, I done business. I'll fight you. I'll rematch you. I'll rematch you after I fought Joshua Buatsi. Surely for Lyndon Arthur, it's about picking up titles. And he fought the Golden Boy, which was Yarde, and he beat Yarde. It's not for Arthur now to go and give Yarde a rematch like he's entitled to a rematch because, he's Anthony Yarde. No. I say, you know what? Get in line. You want your rematch? Get in line. I'm going after Joshua Buatsi. I want to become British champion as well. And if I'm his team, I'm saying, you know what? Go for the Buatsi fight. Go and fight Buatsi for the title. You could be Commonwealth champion. You go and fight on Matchroom and make money on that. That's what I would do. If I could, I would go for that fight. More money to be made, but that's just me, And as for Danny Garcia, I don't want to see anything of him again. I don't want to see anything of him again. All that talk from Danny Garcia, right? He couldn't let his hands go. And once a fighter is unable to let his hands go, that is more or less the end, the decline of his career. I don't know what Garcia was under. Because what peed me off the most about that fight was in the 12th round, out of nowhere, Garcia comes out with a 4-5 punch combination with some real fire. Like, what the hell's going on? He was doing some good stuff. He was making error miss. He was getting on the inside, and then not let his hands go. So, well done to Errol Spence. You know what? He showed himself to be really good on the night. And that was I gambled. I said, you know what? I didn't know what Spence had left after the car crash. I thought I'd stick 20 quid on and Garcia for the KO because he's got the punching power to do it. But Garcia didn't let his hands go. Yeah, and if you don't let your hands go, if the guy you're backing doesn't let his hands go, what can you do? You understand? So fair play to Errol Spence. Came back, looked good. I said the fight was called Show Me. It's the Show Me fight, and Errol Spence showed me he's as good as advertised, or as good as he was once advertised. Dealt with Danny Garcia, showed physical strength, able to bully Garcia, push him to ropes, and work on him. And Garcia, I don't see Danny Garcia fight again. I'm done with him. It was like when Danny Jacobs fought Golovkin, after he fought Golovkin, and he didn't let his hands go against Canelo. I'm done with him, and I'm done with Danny Garcia. And I don't see anything to do with Danny Garcia. No, I'm done. Finished with Danny Garcia. Sorry. Thank you, Danny, for a great career. Done with you. Oh, it's just one bad performance. It's not bad, but a bad performance. That he had plenty of time to train. Him and his dad were up on it. He said he disrespected Errol Spence. He didn't think Errol Spence was the truth. He didn't rate Errol Spence. All that talk. They're coming to Texas to do this, that, and the devil knows what. And then they put on a performance like that. No, I'm done. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. It's like I don't want to see Gabe Rosado, Danny Jacobs, him, Kell Brook, Abby Card. I don't want to see them people. No, I'm not interested in them. No, I'm just not interested. So that's my thoughts on that. And as for Terence Crawford, look, man. Look. Sign with PBC, right? This is how it has to happen. Terence Crawford has to sign with PBC. And when he signs with PBC, then he has to have 1 or 2 fights, right? And that's going to be risky. 1 or 2 fights against the premier fighters in the welterweight division, right? No more of these flipping Green Machine fights or Kell Brook fights. He needs to be fighting one of the premier welterweights in the division. Or at least 1 or 2 of them. Beat one of them convincingly, i.e. take the Sean Porter fight. Beat the brakes off of Sean Porter, and then I believe an Errol Spence fight can be made. Because Terence Crawford under Bob Arum is not a ticket seller. Screw Bob Arum. He's not a ticket seller under Bob Arum. He needs to go to PBC. He needs to start selling out. He needs to sell out of arena with a big fight. That big fight needs to be Sean Porter, which is a risky fight. Let him fight Sean Porter. Let him beat Sean Porter and say, right, I've beaten Sean Porter. Or even fight Danny Garcia. One of them 2 guys. Fight Sean Porter. Forget Keith Thurman. Fight Sean Porter. Beat Sean Porter. Because he's the guy that everyone's seen on PBC. And Sean's good to look at. And he's good to talk and stuff like that. Beat the crap out of Sean Porter. And then fight Errol Spence. Then a fight can be made. Because you're both now, you've had that big fight. You've had that trademark fight. You had that fight. And Errol, I beat Sean Porter, I beat a list of other guys. But I beat Sean Porter, and I beat him more convincingly than you. And then we can have Spence versus Crawford next year, potentially in the summer of 2021 or late 2021. That's how I'd see it. That's the only way I see that fight happening. I don't see that fight happening anywhere soon with Crawford and he's selling 100 tickets. You understand? I just don't see it happening. And anybody who's a Crawford fan, I ask you one question. Is your man a ticket seller? Because if he comes to the table against Errol Spence, it's 75-25 in favour of Errol Spence. He can sell out the arena, be what happened the other night with 16,000 because of COVID and stuff. But take COVID away, you know, Spence could fill up that arena. If it was Crawford in that arena, he couldn't fill that arena out, and that's the point right there. Why should Spence be having to do with the inept promotion of Crawford? Leave Bob Arum, get yourself a proper promotional kit, which would be that with a team of people that are in your best interest. Do you understand? Great fighter, not so smart upstairs when it comes to promotions. Terence Crawford needs to leave that set of people because they're not in his best interest. They're in their best interest. Needs to leave them and go to PBC, and then that fight will be made. And I think that will happen. So those are my thoughts there. Let me go through the list of people, all their comments now. I've had my little rant over. Let's go. That ain't again Danny Garcia that fought Khan regardless of the £7 weight difference, okay? Garcia fought like Gallagher fighter, walk forward, hands up without throwing. Yep, quite right. Worst Garcia performance ever. Yeah, but then you could put that down to Errol Spence's boxing ability. Errol is a bizarre dude. Looks skinny as hell, but sharper than before the crash. Crazy. It is interesting, isn't it? Very interesting. Yes, Mr. Rubin. Garcia was dog shite, that's why. Well, you've got to say that Spence had a contributing factor to them punches. That left hand and body shots had a lot to do with it. Linda's the real king of the jungle. Yes, shout out to Andy Lee, talking proper sense. Garcia looked like he joined the Gallagher gym. Yep. Hey, you good, Ingram? I'm good, BG London. I'm real good, bro. Real good. It's fascinating now. It's fascinating now hearing all the Skybots having a backtrack on their comments now to the extent Daniel's injury come out. Yeah, well, they're idiots. Looking bad, don't it? BG London. Salute. Yes, Governor, says BG London. Eddie's shameful comments asking to see scans of Daniel's eye. Yeah, well, because he has to get himself, you know, they have to now backtrack. Eddie, of all people, should recognise. Now, forget Eddie. Talking of a football match, too many Richard Lartys. Yep. Well, you'll see a bit more, few Richard Lartys later in my FIFA. He's laughing. Get this smoke. Peace be a BWTM. Peace to you, brother. Peace chat. Yes. Salute smoke. Eddie recognises Mullah. Yes. Frank's matchmaking is usually on point, of course. Ruben says it's a tough one. If Daniel won, we'd say he's at that level. Well, he wasn't going to win, so forget it. If we want competitive fights from young prospects who not fully prove themselves, can't we use experience after timing, saying it was too early? Bro, Stevie Wonder could see the fight was not too early for Daniel Dubois. Why did Daniel Dubois have to fight? Why do you have to fight him? There are other guys he could have fought. Fabio Wardley would have been a fight he could have had. There are other guys he could have fought. Babbage, he could have fought. Do you understand? Those guys are better for him. But bloody Dave Allen. That, you know, Lenroy Thomas. Those guys he should be fighting. BT Sport probably putting pressure on. Yeah, of course they would be. How many fights you think Joyce? How many fights early you think Joyce fight was for Daniel? Under his current team, forever, because they're not going to improve him to the point he needs to be improved. It's not so much the fighter, but the team. What are they teaching him in between fights? And then the matchmaking. So it's the team, not just the fighter. You can see the BT Sports meeting. Great news. Subscriptions were about 40% up because of Daniel Dubois' fight. Fantastic. Bad news. Dubois' career is in the balance. So what? 40% up. This is boxing today. Yeah, sounds right. I'm shocked on Danny Garcia, man. What the hell happened to him? He fought a class fighter, and he got some of that left hand work. And he didn't like it. Dubois has been in tough sparring in the past. No, I don't think so. Don't think so. I'd say 6 at least, Ruben, but Joyce might have beat him by then. He'd be 37-38, probably. Dubois sparred with AJ Povetkin, not sure about Vlad. Dubois, he sparred with AJ Povetkin, and he sparred Vlad Tsarenko as well. I kept telling you, I posted the video interview with Dubois and Joyce. You should listen to what he said about Dubois and Joyce and their punching power. He said Dubois is raw. Joyce will beat Dubois. What happened? And that was from Vlad Tsarenko, who'd sparred both guys back to back. Heavyweight division at the moment has 2 distinct generations. Dubois has more than enough time till top 3 at the moment retire. Well, maybe not. Corny. Yeah, indeed. 3 against the elites. I think his only pushover has been Vargas and Rematch. Yeah, that's right. I'm trying to find. Where's? Oh, here we go. Sorry. I've skipped a lot of comments. Sorry. I don't know why that happened. Almost a good thing it happened early in career, and Daniel now knows how fake people can be in the sport. Yep. Especially ex-pros. Yep, absolutely. That are on a payroll, I will say that. He now knows clearly IFL are not his friends. Well, you've got to understand, like I said before, it's like the Sun newspaper. That's all I'll say about that. Wicked showing, thank you very much. Same to be said for Yarde. Well, it is what it is. It is what it is. Yarde and Dubois, 2 fights back and beaten off the jab, basically. Tunde only realised till 10th that Arthur had hurt his hand, though, to be fair. Oh, my God. Mental health is a hustle for celebrities and public figures. Preach and contradict. Of course. Yarde's challenger has rematch clause. Really? That's worse than White's rematch clause for mandatory position. LOL. Tunde should be sacked alone for not seeing Lyndon Arthur's weakness inside fighting. I was pissed off seeing Yarde easily handle him in the last round. Tunde sold Yarde to us as elite world level talent after Kovalev fight. He revised that as an elite inexperienced talent. Now after this, we have to say he's Euro level. Nah, man, I think that Arthur's got what it takes to be a world champion. That's what I think. I've said it already. You know, I do, because we've seen him box 2 totally different styles. He's adaptable. Yarde style is not adaptable. Yarde cannot adapt. He fights the same way in all his fights. Same way, same tempo. Champion defends title, but hit with rematch clause. Crazy stuff. Boazzi, Arthur, yes, please. See, I could do matchmaking. I make a great matchmaker. Tunde needs to go, or Yarde needs to leave. One of the two. Danny Garcia done the same in the 12th. They always throw at the end. I know. When it's too late. Oh, come on, man. You're being harsh on Danny Garcia. No, bro. That's the problem with boxing. That is the problem with boxing. How can I be too harsh on Danny Garcia? This is an experienced bro who knew what he had to do to beat Errol Spence. How can you let your hands go like in a 12th round? like with all that aggression, and not let it go in the middle of a fight. No, bro, that's making excuses, and I expect a bit more from you than that, bro. Tunde would be offended by your opinions. LOL. Well, yeah, he'd be offended by my opinions too, but got to tell the truth. Tunde is offended by anyone's opinions. His ego is on that level that doesn't exist. Boatsi's last performance getting caught more than a Vegas hooker. Well, I've told everyone about Boatsi's shortcomings. Needs to change his trainer. Boatsi Arthur would be a great fight. Errol is much better. Those shots hurt. Of course they did. What the hell happened to Danny Garcia, man? He got hit. He got hit, and the report probably was he probably trained in the event that Errol Spence is not the same fighter as he was before. Got in the ring and fought. Errol Spence was much better than the fighter that he expected. How many times has Garcia stepped up and lost now? Shake my head. Now he got beat the crap out of this fight. Difference. That still ain't the Garcia that fought Khan, regardless of £7 difference. Different fighter. He's finished. Errol, that's the best I've seen in box. It is. Bud man in the division. Okay. Danny at welterweight has a decent resume. Even though he's losses, he's had 6 Wilder fights in total and 3 elites. Okay. Don't know about all that, but anyway. Notice Errol's speech after the fight. That was a lot better than what we saw in the build-up. He sounded normal. He did sound normal, didn't he? He looked with us. 75-25. Come on, man. Are you saying it? Are you seeing Spence Crawford as a 50-50 fight? Man, listen, I will never do business with you, bro. Never do business with you. What tickets does Crawford sell? Goes around to the table. Yeah, you got a belt. Okay. What fans do you bring into the fight? Can you sell out arena? No, you can't. That's it. Crawford can't sell arenas out. So yeah, 75-25. I respect you because you're a champion in your resume. Or it'd be 90-10. Okay, let me slip that now. Let me go past that. Yes, Lawrence Williams, my brother. I hope that you're good. Ingram, who was the guy who kept shouting lines in the camp louder than the commentary? I think that was what's his name? That's the pad. He does the pad work and the body work for Tunde. I can't remember the brother's name again. But yeah, he's the main guy who shouts lines in the camp. Can't remember the guy's name. He's on the channel. I've interviewed him before. Tunde shouldn't be served at Gabby's Nigerian takeaway in Peckham. 2-week ban at least. Systems 9. Well, Systems gone down, man. Do you think Martin Rogan would beat Errol Spence? Let's keep moving. Not one of these 9 levels dealt with jabs. That's probably right. Errol beat the brakes of Garcia. The only chance Danny had was if his face or head was damaged by the accident, but the accident renewed his focus. Yeah, that's quite true. I'll give you that. He did. That's the best I've ever seen Spence after the crash. A performance like that. Yep, very good. System 9 is void. Yeah, I think so. LOL. Garcia's landed right hands, but his best shot is the left hook, which he was only going to land if Errol was defensively responsive to the southpaw. Not happening. No, I don't know about that, bro. I disagree with you there. I totally disagree with you there, because the fact of the matter is this: Garcia was hitting with the right hand. If you're fighting a southpaw, right hand left hook combination, that's a natural. You touched him with the right hand, which means you kind of blind him with the right hand and then bring the left hook in. That's a natural combination on pads. You know, right, left. That's a natural combination. Touch him with the right hand, hit him with the left hook. That's a natural combination, particularly for somebody like Danny Garcia. Do you know what I mean? His left hook is his best shot. So you're landing your right hand, your right jab, and letting the left hook go. So I disagree with you there, bro. Totally disagree with you on that one. Totally disagree with you. Danny Garcia did not let his hands go in the way he should have let his hands go. It was it. And how many times did you see him roll, slip the left, and not come back with his own right hand left hook combination? He didn't. He slipped, rolled, was inside, didn't let the body shots go. So I totally disagree with you, bro. Really disagree with you on this. Yeah, the Sonny Edwards interview. Apparently, someone from the Team Warren asked them to be quiet during the fight. He was like, "What about Team Yarde shouting lions in the camp non-stop?" Oh boy. Good evening, Hamoud. Hope that you're well. Yarde's team were worried. Arthur's team were making noise to make up for the lack of performance. Oh my gosh. So that's about it. This is gonna be a short, slow. He was loud, man. Surely disturbing peace ringside. Lyndon Arthur signed to Frank. I don't know if he is, but if he signed to Frank, I tell Frank, I want the Boatsy fight. I don't know. I'll come back and fight Yarde. I want the Boatsy fight. I'm gonna make as much money as possible. Lyndon's in the camp. Right, a short show tonight, not so long. Well, it's almost an hour. Right, once again, thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, leave your comments. You know the thing. You know how it goes. Really appreciate the love as always on the show. And check out the other videos on the channel as well. Congratulations to Errol Spence Jr. Absolutely great performance from him. Coach says Errol wasn't there. The man was on the move constantly, moving, circling, then charging, and exchanging body shots with Errol is suicide. It was apparently after 3 rounds, Garcia was done. No, disagree with you. Garcia had a middle phase of the fight where there was 1 or 2 rounds where Garcia actually was forcing the pace, and at that point, I thought Garcia was in the fight. He hit Errol's with double right hands. If you can hit a man with a double right hand, you can put the left hook in there, and he was there to be hit, mate. He was there to be hit. So I don't buy that. If SD went other way, Arthur would have been relegated to domestic scene. Of course. Errol Spence gave Garcia kittens in there. Yeah. You know, if I Garcia now, I'll go home and love up on that nice Latino woman he's got and the kids and say, that's it. You understand? I enjoy Keith Thurman up in the mountains blowing some pipes. You know what I mean? And take Angel up there with him for the entertainment. The lot of them now. Thurman's another one. I don't want to see him fight again. I don't want to see Thurman fight again. It's all about the payday now. You know what I mean? So let Thurman and Garcia go up into the mountain together and play the pipe. Garcia with his wife and Thurman with his wife. Let them go make lots of babies up in the mountain. I don't want to see none of them fight again. Keith. Yeah, join Keith. I don't want to see them anymore. 2021, I don't want to see those guys. I've Garcia 3 rounds, and that's just been nice. That trading at the end is for show. Do that early and get dropped like Leo Cat Santa Cruz. Disagree with you there. Disagree with you. If Spence couldn't drop Mikey Garcia, he was not dropping Danny Garcia. So again, I don't disagree. I disagree with you totally on that. And it's very hard to drop someone when you're on inside of them throwing them shots. See, you're not listening. He slipped inside, and there he's going to throw the body. He's not getting dropped because he's inside of Errol here. How's he drop? How are you going to drop a man if he's inside on your chest here? What are you talking about? Garcia slipped inside the left, right hand body shot, left hook, or come inside, whip the uppercut through the middle. Bro, that don't make no sense. That don't make no sense whatsoever. I'm telling you, he slips inside. Errol's hands are up here. How is Errol going to knock a man out? That don't even make logical sense. It don't make sense. And Garcia was in here, and Errol's hands are here. That don't make sense. So there was no point at time. The only time that would have made sense is if he's outside on the outside of Errol's left hand, and he's there to get hit. But for the most part, when Errol used the left hand, Garcia was slipping under it. When he was slipping under, that's when he could have come back with a left hook on the right hand combination. When he was hitting Errol with the double right hand, he should have come back with a left hook. Didn't do it. But explain to me in the 12th round how he's able to throw left hook, right hand combination at the end of the fight. Don't make no sense, bro. Don't make no sense whatsoever. No, bro. Technically speaking, that don't make sense. Technically on the pads, that makes sense. That don't make even sense physically sparring. It don't make sense, bro. It's not logical. It can't happen. That's champion talk there. That's not, that is not physically possible, coach. Not possible. Yeah, FIFA 21 for real, man. Garcia should retire and let blow. Yeah, I do believe he should go and blow flutes with Keith. Nah, forget my £140, man. Garcia just needs to retire. Errol beat him up. It's the 4th or 5th best welterweight. A lot of good welterweights, bro. Bro, that's not the point. I'm not talking about he beat him up. I'm talking boxing science with you here. I'm not talking about what happened. I'm talking about why it happened. And I'm also breaking it down, going further into boxing science and saying to you, Garcia's, when Spence hands were here, always slipped Spence. He kept slipping Spence all the time. And he wasn't making Spence pay for it. That's all I'm saying. Errol was there, but thank you very much. Errol was there, but Garcia never threw. That's my point. Is Errol the truth? Listen, I will end on this. Errol beat the truth into Danny Garcia. He beat the truth into Danny Garcia. Blowing some pipes, absolutely. I'm done. He needs to go blow pipes. There it goes. It goes. Garcia's too slow, too small. Oh my God. He's too slow and too small. So if he was too slow and too small, how did he throw that 5-punch combination in? And Errol's too responsible to get caught. What? No, bro. Bro, no. Errol at what point threw the left and he blocked Danny's right at the same hand. He was on fire last night. Bro, I disagree with you, bro. This is one thing I strongly disagree with. We can run the tape back and we can watch it together. In fact, we run the tape back together and I'll point out to the areas where Spence is going to get hit. If you really want to do that, we can do that. But no, I don't agree that Spence was not there to be hit. He was damn well there to be hit, but Garcia didn't capitalize. We can run the tape back, bro. You disagree? Nothing the man could do, bro. Listen, you come on the show and run the tape back and we watch the fight together. Run the tape back and I'll show you where he could have hit him. There were proper gaps. If Beterbiev picks up all the titles at light heavyweight, he won't because he's got to deal with my boy Bivol. Could you see him give it a go at heavyweight? He certainly hits hard enough. No. I don't think so. I don't think he's good enough. I don't think Beterbiev beats my boy Breedis. Breedis knocks out Beterbiev because Beterbiev can't fight on the back foot. You saw what Callum Johnson did to Beterbiev and dropped him. But Breedis would hurt him. Breedis would hurt Beterbiev. Why? The only hard shot Earl got hit with was a headbutt. Oh, boy. Yeah, okay. All right, fine. I get it. All right, fair enough. Right. Thank you all so much for watching another entertaining show. As well as always, love the comments from you guys. And we'll see you soon. Next week, it's the big one. Pulev versus Joshua. You know what I've been saying about this fight. The jab of Kubrat Pulev. The double jab. I believe the double jab can shut Joshua down. Pulev has got to come out fast. Double up the jab. Push Joshua back. If he pushes Joshua back to ropes and hits him with that big right hand, we could see a next heavyweight champion. Have I considered training fighters? I was training a fighter at one point. And I'm going to get back to doing it again. Definitely. I was working with some fighters in the Frank Bruno Boxing Academy for a while, and I'm going to get back to doing that as soon as I'm going to get back to that as soon as possible. Definitely going to get back to training fighters. You know, definitely. Pulev closes Femi's eye. I'm looking for Pulev to double the jab up. He's got to close the range of Femi from Hercules, and if he closes the range down on Hercules and lets that right hand go, you can see a next heavyweight champion of the world. It's as simple as that. Because if he hits Joshua and he hurts Joshua, Joshua doesn't Josh was one of the guys when you hit him and hurt him, just cover up. You saw in the Ruiz fight, Pulev's got a better jab than Ruiz, and Ruiz had a shorter reach than Joshua. I just don't. Joshua's gonna have to get past that jab next Saturday night. You have the knowledge. Would like to see you train fighters, to be honest. Well, I want to get into it, bro. That's what I'm seriously doing. I'll definitely be doing that. It's something I want to do in 2021. I've got everything ready to go. Just need to get going. Thank you. I appreciate it, brother. But Joshua, Pulev to win the fight, he's got to double up the jab and let that straight right hand go. He's got the perfect style to beat Anthony Joshua because he's got the double jab. He knows distance and space. It's whether Pulev can put it together on the night. I'm backing Pulev to win, but hey, a lot of people think that Pulev's gonna blast. He think that Joshua's gonna blast him out of there. Plus, you have friends like Uncle you can speak to, so you defo could make it far in the game. Well, I wanted to go under his tutelage, and that was the plan in 2020 to go and work with Uncle Bashir, go under his tutelage and work with him. That was the plan, but you know, imagine all the peds Joshua's been taking in this year off. Wow, yeah. So next week is Judgment Day for Kubrat Pulev. He's got the ability to beat Joshua, as far as I'm concerned. I don't believe it's all about big muscles. See past that. I think if Pulev can get that jab going, he could double up that jab on Josh, shut Joshua down. Joshua's a very effective fighter coming forward. He's not so effective on the back foot. Yeah, of course I'm putting money on Pulev. I've been telling Uncle Bashir this for weeks. I'm backing Pulev. He's hungry. He's ready. He wants it. You know what I mean? And he's not a guy that's going to be easily phased by Joshua. Anytime AJ posts pics of camps in Dubai, have to be suspect. Mr. TU. What do you make of Yarde Spot saying he got robbed? My response to that is that he expected Frank to give him a nod because he's the A-side fighter. That's what I think. You box very composed, very comfortable. You give a razzle-dazzle like Danny Garcia at the end of the fight, and you expect to get your hand raised. No. Lyndon Arthur was the champion, and that's the big mistake they made. Did you ever box? I did, sir. I did box. In fact, I was in the same gym as Barry Jones. So when Barry Jones was fighting, was it De Freitas? Anicello De Freitas for the championship, was for the WBO Super Featherweight, of the Featherweight Super Featherweight Championship. I was in the gym at the time, and I was going to have a pro contract with Steve Robinson's former trainer. So yeah, that was my trainer. I was going to turn pro under him. But Barry Jones was my stablemate at the time. Yeah, all those years ago in Cardiff and Ely in Wales. I want to go back and visit soon to see the gym. Barry Jones, yeah. I was based in Wales at the time, yes. I'd left. I was training in America. I was training in Florida. At one point, I was training in Roy Jones's gym, in the Warriors boxing gym in Florida. Did some time out there. I was going to work out there, and then I ended up coming back from the States, went straight to his gym and worked with him. Me too. Trained at the St. Paul's in Hull with Luke Campbell. Wow. Well, get Bashir on, please. Is Uncle Bashir related to me? No, he's not. I just call him Uncle because of the respect. I've known Uncle Bashir since 2013, and I was introduced to him, and he's just been like family to me for years. So it's just like somebody I've got a lot of respect for. But I call him Uncle because, you know, and he likes being called Uncle Bashir. I find it very odd. So yeah, that was it really. So let me get out of here, and we'll talk soon. Much love to you all. Take care.